gotta love the heartbeat.
Yes.
Gotta love that.
Gets
Shay,
the blood
taking it
flow
on.
pumping.
Yeah, it is a Tuesday and it's all
It's a
fun.
tenacious Tuesday. It's a terrific Tuesday. It's actually a national day that's going to celebrate literally close to home. And it's cold in South Florida, but we're having a great time. And aside from dropping a weight on my foot this morning, having a great day. How about you?
Right, so wait a minute. Okay. So cold is a relative term.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so. I think so. So if you're waking up and it's like, 20 below or, like, Minnesota.
Shout out to Jeff Hill, Andy Hill's brother, who got married this past weekend. They got married in Indiana. Andy went to the wedding. I talked to Andy yesterday. It was -5 there.
What are you talking about?
No, thank you. No,
that's cold.
Thank you.
That my boy is cold. This is relative. I got up this morning. I still went to the gym in shorts. Had a sweatshirt on. Did use the heated seats, I must say, but I do that all the time anyway, just to kind of loosen up the back. Got to see my man Howie Craw. We passed each other in the gym. And then speaking of cold, he's going to Denver today, 20 degrees and snowing. Good luck.
Snowing. Unfreaking believable. I'm out on the cold stuff, but
I'm
enjoying.
How's your
Monday? Was great. So I want to give a shout out to a family member, a blood family member, Brian Salkin, because Brian reached out to me and asked for help. He's like, look, I got this stuff going on in my life and I know I need help. Would you be willing to help me? And we had a great call for a half hour, talked about what we can do and how we can do it. And just good for him. Sometimes it's harder to ask family for help. And so shout out to him for doing that. It was super cool.
So I think what's really cool, and we discussed this, is even though he's blood, you got to pay.
Yeah. And
if you don't pay, you're not bought in. You got, and I would tell people, no matter what they pay us, it's got to be 1 degree past your comfort zone. Like, ooh, that pinches. Like, I got to have a hard time writing that check because that's where the fucking gold is.
And good for him. He didn't even try to put me in an uncomfortable position. He said up front, he goes, I don't want anything for free. And so when you set that expectation up front with a family member, you're not then in your head thinking oh, what am I supposed to do here? Do it boom, awesome stuff. So yes, and you are exactly correct, Greg Goldstein. Brian went to Ithaca. That's amazing that you guys went there together. It's awesome.
Oh my God.
Small world.
It is a small world. I have a shout out as well. Shay, I don't know if you have the picture handy, but picture of Aiken Udale. Aiken was on my Tell Me Something Good. He's basically new to the community, played for Dallas, played for Miami, played for Jacksonville. And we were in this conversation. So we had set up lunch. We saw each other at the end of the year at the JA party. He's getting involved in JA on the board. And then we set up yesterday and there was really no agenda. And I'm busy as hell. And I'm saying, what am I doing this for? I'm checking the boxes, looking the day. And I go, you know what? I enjoy his company. Let me see where it goes. And there are just certain people who make you feel good about who you are. He makes me feel good about who I am. He appreciated my honesty because he was experience sharing. He loved my vulnerability about, what I've done good in my life and what I haven't done good. And we were hugging at the end, man. Yeah. He's one of the few guys I know that makes me look small.
That is a big dude. He kind of looks like David Goggins a little bit.
He is fit like a fiddle. Very disciplined, very cool. My big takeaway from him is he has never had a drink. And I want him to preach that just because you're an athlete does not equal partying and acting like a fool. He's a really good dude. Blessed that he's in our life. He wants the next time you to join because there's all kinds of football. And here's a cool thing, man. Just, he told me for the early years of playing football, it was a ticket to get what he wanted. He did not like it. It was coaches, mainly Bill Parcells, who made him realize he loved the artistry of the game.
Yeah.
And, for the people we work with, for us, there is an artistry to what we do. He was enamored with that because he knows it happens with ease. He's watching me glide, relationship making, all this stuff. So anyway, shout out to him. Takeaway for everybody is pump the brakes, get off the merry-go-round, find somebody that makes you feel good and go have a good time with them. So.
Well, we're going to talk about the National Day, which is National Florida Day, and we're going to talk about some Florida stuff. But
Look at Terry Clinton, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, thanks for the compliment from yesterday, National Compliment Day. Thank you, Carrie. But I chose today to talk about Coach Bowden because he's a Florida legend, right? I mean, he built Florida State from the ground up. They were a girls' school and they couldn't win a football game. He took it over and brought them to national dominance. But my biggest takeaway from working with him was it was never about them being good football players, ever. No. That was never the first thing we talked about. It was always about making them good men. So we weren't in the business of winning football games. We weren't in the business of creating football players or developing football players. We were in the business of developing young men and young humans in order to create a good organization. Now, yes, he recruited great talent, but that talent would have been nothing had he not developed them to be good people. And obviously you have your stories of your one-offs, but as a whole, when you look at the people that came out of his programs, they all went on to be really successful, whether it be in football or not. And that's something that I think leaders need to really understand and grasp as they step into their roles. So
it's, when you really unpack this stuff, first of all, Mike Kublin, an old friend, we all need to listen to his advice about drinking. His advice was, if I drank, I looked like everybody else. I wanted to stand out and be different. So he says, I didn't want to play that stereotype. I wanted to be different. He continues to do that. And then Dave Stavali, who is always great. It's great to see him. He's probably freezing his ass off. And I look forward to your trip here in March. But, part of what the psychology of the game is pick the people that make you feel good. And when you're down, reach out to them. Hey, I just want to hear your voice. I just want to communicate with you. But trust me, we all go through that. You and I, we are not immune to the garbage. This huddle, the basic premise of the huddle is that you and I get together, feel good, and then go do the work. Because if you're feeling bad, I'm here for you and you're here for me. I'm not really sure why Shay is here, but
well, you sent the email to all of us. It used to be about task management, then it was about time management, now it's about energy management. That's really what we're talking about, is controlling what takes your energy away. The biggest energy vampire are people, right? And so controlling the people that are around you, where you spend your time, how you spend your time in the mornings, when you're launching yourself into your day to go do things, is a huge part of it. So let's get to some wake up music, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Florida.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in there. No more about to thinking, time for thinking ahead. Come on now.
So it's good to see Shay getting some love.
Yeah.
But when we talk about control the controllables, my first coaching call on Monday morning is Lori Solarillo. So right out of this, I go to Lori. That fires me up for the week. I got energy after that because we're working and we're grinding and we're picking it apart, destroying it to build it back up. It just fires me up. So, that just validates. So I know you got a big show, so go.
But yeah, so today is National Florida Day. And it's not possible to talk about Florida without making fun of Florida first. So I thought the best way to do that is give me the Florida top #1 video.
Look at how many iguanas this old man has sitting around him.
Yo, y'all playing too much.
Are me. Every time we hear your stories, we feel like it's us. If you're injured in a car crash, slip and fall, or the victim of medical malpractice, call us, because we care. Dial
You go, man!
Car! Yo! Only a day, man. Only a f***ing day. Look at the phones. No, man, ain't seeing the car. What you mean? Look at the camera.
Only in Florida. That's an AC unit. they had a window AC unit in the back window of the car.
Oh shit! You know what's funny is that Florida has changed, obviously, over the years. You know, when you talk about Florida, you think of Boca del Vista, which is the Seinfeld takeaway.
Right.
It's still like that. I mean, it is still it, but there's new influences. There's people coming from, have come from all over the country to make it different and hipper. But there ain't nothing like living here. I love it.
So I thought that was a great video that kind of gave you some insight into what it's like to live in Florida. But if you're looking for a fun exercise today, just go on to Google and Google Florida man, and then Google your birthday date and look at all of the headlines on your birthday date that come from a Florida man doing something absolutely ridiculous, and it'll have you laughing for hours. So
And another tidbit with Florida. So Saturday, it's going to be freezing here. So watch out for falling iguanas.
Oh, 1,000%. Oh, that's a real thing. So they freeze to death overnight and then they just end up. Yeah. So the iguana picture was hilarious. But so there are some takeaways here that I thought were really interesting. Number one, Florida is the number one state that people are moving to right now. The the rate of people moving into the state is the highest of any other. The real estate prices are increasing exponentially, but they're number 3 in education right now. U.S. News put out a report. They're number 3 in education, number 1 in higher education, and number 16 in the country in pre-K through 12, which I don't know what happened since I graduated, but that was not the case when I was in school. So
when I moved to Florida, I moved from New York. I moved when I was going into 9th grade, and the stuff they were doing here, I had done in 6th grade. This is not going to be a problem here, man.
We have an 86.3 graduation rate, which is a full percentage point higher than the national average, which is 85.3. So people are moving here. It's a beautiful place. Got to celebrate Florida today. Love that. We're going to go to some morning motivational music, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go to Huddle Headlines, and we're going to talk about Mark Cuban and what Mark Cuban is doing, because it's an ultimate testament to do what you can.
There's a place up ahead and I'm going just as fast as my feet can fly. Come away, you get going. Leave the sinking ship behind. Come on the rising wind. We're going up around the bend. Bring a song and a smile for the banjo.
real. So I'm going to go a little flashback. Last week when Bob and Donna were wearing their daily Huddle shirts, if you want a shirt, reach out, send us the address. I'm sending one to Marcy Scheinbaum. But here's for some swag. Who's the lead singer of CCR?
Go ahead and put it in the comments
It's out there.
as we wait for
I'll
people
send
to
you the entire goodie package.
Yes.
So who the lead singer is. Let's see how fast people can Google. But you'll know
I
him.
was going to say there's 1,000% people are Googling it away right now.
But I will tell you, he's very successful in his own right. So continue the show, my son.
So let's go to the Huddle headlines. We got to have the Huddle headlines music, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Mark Cuban, who is a JA alumni, and God, I love what he's doing. So Mark Cuban opens an online pharmacy to provide affordable generic drugs. And now
James Thrash, bang.
yeah.
Bang. On the buzzer. Nice job. You already have swagged up.
Carrie Clinton says John, so I think she got it.
Right.
Did she get the Fogarty? I don't know.
I don't know. Let's go to the judges. Shay, give me an X. Sorry, let's play again.
So I want to talk about this because I think it's so important for people to realize this is something that I coach on as I work with leaders is resourcefulness, right? And understanding if you have the capability to do something or understanding what the resources are around you and how that allows you to do things and what you're capable of doing with those resources. But Mark Cuban starts a online pharmacy that is called the Mark Cuban Plus Pharmaceutical Company. And what their whole idea for the company is to drastically reduce the rates of generic pharmaceutical drugs. And to give you an idea on how much he's cutting the price of drugs, okay, there's a leukemia drug on the market called imatinib, right? It's priced at $47 a month through Mark Cuban compared to a $9,600 retail value. So you're talking about a 5% of what it costs for people, and all they have to do is sign up, give their prescription, and they're able to fill it. Now, interestingly enough, they do not accept insurance. And his rebuttal to why he doesn't accept insurance is because the cost of the drugs is less than your copay and less than your deductible.
Right.
So you're already spending less money through the drugs. So he's not working through either the pharmaceutical companies or the insurance company and completely disrupting what's happening.
So I'm glad you used that word. So he's disrupting the process because the people in the middle of that, right, are the ones who are grabbing all the money. You know,
Correct.
Making it accessible, making it not accessible, making it a certain price. Who the hell knows what it costs to actually manufacture that? And listen, I have no problem paying for things that have been researched and, you know, everybody's do their fair share. This has gone way out of whack, and making it available to more people is the most humanitarian thing I can ever imagine doing.
So maybe like the worst pharmaceutical story ever is Purdue Pharma and what the Sackler family did. But to get like the transparency of his company is that every drug, it doesn't matter, has a 15% margin on top of the actual manufacturer prices and then a $3 pharmacist fee. So you know that there's no guessing as to whatever the cost of the manufacturer is, it's 15% marked up, $3 pharmacy fee. And that is, so to me, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, can't see the future. You don't know if it's going to be successful, but you have to think that this is going to revolutionize the way at least the pharmaceutical world works.
Well, so what's interesting is I am sure that model has been baked so that it is a very profitable model, because what you give up in the high end, you make in volume. So,
Correct.
You know, when it's available to everybody, you know, it's like unbelievable. The government bought 500 million tests, you know, COVID tests, you know, and then they're giving them out free. They were $99 a month ago, you know, so it's like, Where's that? Who's doing this? Where's the money? It's crazy.
So the research has been done, and that generic drugs on average at least get 100% markup through the pharmacies. And in some cases, get 1,000% markup. So he's taking something that's a minimum of 100% and cutting it to 15%.
So we talk about the power of personal brand. We talk about it all the time. Whatever Mark Cuban does, I'm following. I'm in, because he's already proven to me who he is, what he does, who he does it with, and why he does it. Boom. It's the whole game plan right there in 4 strokes. He does it. I've been fortunate to meet him, have some really wild times with him, as have you. He's as genuine as they come. He's like a little kid. He just happened to be the smartest guy about early internet stuff. And he was able to cash in on that. But the reality is, these are difference makers. These are people who are changing the world, not about greed. There's plenty of money there for him, but it's not about greed. It's fantastic.
So it's a great feel-good story. Share it with people, talk about it, talk about what Mark Cuban's doing. But I want to piggyback off that for a second, because Mark Cuban is his own brand. And like you said, you're going to follow what Mark Cuban does. The Rock is the exact same way. I don't know if you've seen the Huddle headlines about what's happening with Terramana Tequila, but they've broken every spirit record in the history of the industry. They've sold like something.
What's your guess? What's your guess as to why? I think I understand why.
Well, it's 1,000% because of him, because he understands how to, number one, get it in front of people and get the message out there and build awareness for it. But he also understands how to build resources around him that are experts in their fields, and then build the teams.
So what I think he did was offer a premium product at a moderate price. Sure. You go and buy a bottle, they're $30. The nearest competitor is $55 or $60. And we did the taste test, which that's always a fun exercise when you do a taste test in tequila, because after the third one, you don't know what the fuck it is anyway. But the reality is that it's a good tequila. I enjoy drinking that when I'm drinking, not drinking, right? But when I'm drinking, and I think I was shocked to see his brand at $30, and right next to it is a gorgeous bottle, Michael Jordan's, that's $99 at the bottom point. So he made it available for more people to enjoy a premium product, which, if that's not the recipe for success, then what is?
And it's almost as if anything he touches turns to gold. You watch his movies come out, everybody flocks to go see them. Both of those, when you talk about Cuban, when you talk about The Rock, they've built a personal brand that they're not one thing. They're not NBA owners. They're not wrestlers. They're not movie stars. They're not just into, the spirit business. They're not just into pharmaceuticals. They are themselves, and they bring the people that know, like, and trust them with them. So my last point, and because I just watched constantly learning. I did an online course yesterday through LinkedIn about content creation from Kawasaki, the guy who started Canva. And I got 4 takeaways from him that I thought were really interesting, because when we talk about content creation, we always talk about Ford, right? Family, occupation, recreation, daily, right? That's your silos that your content falls into. But he gave 4 basics of what your content should do. And it's give information, it's give analysis, it's give assistance, or give entertainment. And when you figure out, okay, if I'm going to talk about these 4 buckets, and then you say, okay, well, what is that actually doing? Is it giving assistance to somebody? Is it giving an analysis of something? Is it giving entertainment to somebody? Or is it just sharing information? That helps people a little bit further down the way. So those guys do an unbelievable job of sharing all different kinds of content that do those things. I think that's a great takeaway.
So number one is, please send that to me, because I want to digest that for me. But I think the most important word there in the 4, give,
correct,
give, and give again. Man.
Correct.
If you give to the world whatever gift you have about any subject or any topic or anything, somebody's watching that you're going to either educate or uplift or do something. And if you go into that party, into this network party with that mentality, man, the riches are amazing. It's not about sales. It's about giving. And those guys are amazing because they're likable doing it. I love it.
Excellent stuff. So fantastic Tuesday. A lot of feel-good stuff. Celebrate Florida. Celebrate Mark Cuban. Build a personal brand. Have a great day. Let's get down to business. We'll see you tomorrow.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.